Hiya, it's Erin Lloyd from Transformational Business Support, QuantumLeapYourBizNow.com. And for those of you who are new to me or don't know or may have forgotten, visionary leaders, conscious entrepreneurs, creators, entertainers, and light bringers hire me when they're ready to consistently attract their dream peeps and quantum leap their businesses with more ease, joy, freedom, flow, fulfillment, and fun faster than they ever thought possible, and do that without burning out, selling out, and without fear of what it will cost them the most. So if that's you, you're in the right place and welcome. And if you're not a visionary, a leader, a conscious entrepreneur, an entertainer, a light bringer, or a creator, for this video, you're also in the right place. So for those who don't know, I am an intuitive and holistic business coach and consultant. I am a certified rapid results coach. I am a certified healing facilitator. I am a branding and online marketing consultant. And I am an ordained minister, though not religious. I'm all this and more. All that in a bag of chips. Or a bag of tricks. I don't know. I mix metaphors in case you're new to me. And jokes. And bad singing. So how does it get even better than that? Anyway, so by day, I am all the things I mentioned before. However, I'm also a holistic wellness coach. And that's kind of gone more to the side, but the thing is that I use a proven holistic success system with my business, coaching, and consulting clients. So everything I do in all areas of business, entrepreneurship, passion projects, etc., always are done with a holistic approach because it gets results, it's comprehensive, it's safe, and it's effective. And because of the way that I'm able to do things based on my background, experiences, training, qualifications, certifications, skill sets, along with my natural capacities, abilities, and gifts, it often happens rapidly. And the keystones, I haven't used that term lately, it's coming in this week, so apparently I'm using it now. The keystones of everything I do to help all of my dream peeps and my clients and customers and students is that I base it around your safety. That's number one. 2, it's got to be effective. And then 3, on top of that, now that we know it's safe and effective, how do we make it custom tailored for you? That's the other key, is I customize everything I do for my dream peeps in a way that's as fast and easy as you're willing to choose to allow yourself to receive and have an experience. So how does it get even better than that? So normally when I do these videos, because I've had this YouTube channel for 3, 4, 5 years now, and my businesses have gone through different iterations. Currently I have 2 businesses. Excuse me for sniffling. And so in the earlier videos, they were more healing focused for stress relief, freedom, pain relief, those kinds of things. Back when I was aiming toward more doing holistic business coaching, but my soul was calling me forward and to step up and claim business coaching, etc., etc. I've been in business since January 2013, so going on 8 years now. And none of it went down the way I imagined or thought it would. And if you're an entrepreneur, you can relate to that. Let me know in the comments. If you're not an entrepreneur for this video, it's okay. You're still in the right place. So the cover photo, which I don't have pulled up right now, of my YouTube channel says, from when I made it years ago when I was at a transition point in my businesses and they were evolving. I often say as you evolve, so does your business and vice versa. And so as myself and my businesses were evolving, my name and business names kept changing and different iterations and variations and versions. And one of them, where I was just absolutely determined, no, if I'm going to do business coaching, it's going to be done my way. that's true for me, and that means it's going to be a holistic approach. So at that point, I ended up running with that and creating a banner cover banner image for my YouTube channel that says something to the effect of body, mind, soul, and business. And what's really interesting and pretty cool, I think, is that even though people come to me for business, I forgot to tell you, I'm not just a business coach. Hashtag not just a business coach. I am a business success and confidence coach. So what it allows me to do is, back then I was like, you know what? I'm only doing this if it's my way, and that means done holistically, customized, comprehensive, safe, effective, and as fast as possible. And always done with conscious consent of my dream peeps. So nothing happens without your consent and your conscious choice and your allowance. So some of the earlier videos on this channel were more holistic wellness and health based, and then as it evolved into business coaching, my left brain had these ideas of what it should be and how I should be and what I should be doing and how I should be showing up that many of us entrepreneurs have. And so they ended up being more logical left brain. I wouldn't call them stern, but there was more of like this locked in energy. And I'm a client attraction specialist. I forgot to mention that. So if you are a visionary leader, a conscious entrepreneur, a creator, an entertainer, or a light bringer, and you do desire to be at your next level and quantum leap your biz and attract your dream peeps, I'm here for that. I'm here for you. But back to the point of this video and what it has to do with any of that. And the image that you see on the screen, which is not one that I normally share, and you might be hearing my words, and if you've heard my videos before or seen them, going, wait a minute, what she has on the screen isn't jiving with what I'm used to, so what's up? What's going on? So I'm here to tell you what's up this week. So at the time of this recording, it is about 7:33 a.m. Arizona time. Arizona is where I live at the moment. And it is October 22nd, 2020, the year that's zoomed by, yet taken 80 years to happen simultaneously. And so at the end of the day, everything I do is through a holistic approach. And in fact, one of the top ways that I help my business coaching clients is that I help them to get safely embodied and to learn to partner and team up with their physical body, because your body is your number one physical transformational tool here on this planet in this lifetime. Whether or not you believe in other lifetimes doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're here now, and that we need to get you to a place where you can safely be embodied physically here in this dimension and reality along with the earth. And so while it may seem like it has nothing to do with business, it actually has everything to do with everything. Business is just my main jam and my main gig, and so that's what my main peeps come to me for, and so that's one of the ways we use that as part of an overall holistic success system, aka my quantum success system, aka my holistic business breakthrough system. And so what we do here is we're always including our bodies, whether I'm coaching a client who happens to come to me through grief, who I was guided to take on even though it wasn't about business, or through business, or through health and wellness challenge because it's holding them back from getting to the next level or being at the next level in their business, in their success, in their dreams. And at the end of the day, you know, everything I do as a certified coach, as a certified healing facilitator, it really applies to every area of your life, whether it's career, job, money, business, health, relationships, etc. So, with that said, I wanted to sort of preface what I'm about to lead into so that you can see that everything is connected. And so, with that in mind, one of my passion projects that I was called into doing, creating, helping and serving with back in 2008 was helping to prevent and reduce the chances of either getting breast cancer or of it recurring. Now, I myself thankfully haven't had breast cancer, so it seemed a bit out of the blue that I was called to do something about that, and yet I was called. And so you could take this as a side. I like to drop golden nuggets in my videos and trainings, and ask yourself, where am I feeling called right now, whether you're in business or not, in my life that I've been ignoring the call? And I invite you to ask yourself that soon, and then ponder on it, meditate on it, reflect on it, just breathe and be and connect with the earth and your body and your higher self, spirit, universe, God, source, all that is, or the quantum field, whatever works for you. If you're left brained, you might want to go with the quantum field, or your energy body, or your imagination per Einstein. If you're more right brained or spiritual and or religious, you might prefer God, source, universe, all that is, goddess, higher self, something else. Your name for it here. Go with that. Go with what resonates for you. Okay? And just tune in, get grounded, centered, present, embodied, and breathe deeply, and just ask yourself soon, not right now, but soon, all right, what call have I been ignoring? That if I were to choose to stop ignoring it and answer the thing, would positively make everything greater and better in my life. Okay? Ponder it, reflect on it, meditate on it. And you may or may not receive an awareness right away, and that's okay. Just breathe, and then go on about your life and business as usual. And when I say business, I mean general, not just necessarily owning of a business, but that too. It could be your career. Just go about your life as usual, but go about it with curiosity and childlike wonder and openness to like, oh, I wonder what's going to come through as an awareness that I'm going to receive, and when it's going to come through about what this call is. And let's be honest, I can feel some of you already know the answer, and you're not even going to have to go through this meditating experience. You know what it is. If you know, let me know in the comments. You don't have to say what it is publicly if you don't want to, and if you want to share it with me privately, you can shoot me an email to Erin, ERIN, at quantumleapyourbiz.com. Or you can just say, I know what it is, Erin. And then let me know, are you ready to choose to answer that call? And this is an example of how everything's connected in the holistic approach I use, because this was not planned to come through on this video. I had no intention or desire or thought of addressing this, but it came through. So if you're the one who needed to hear it, I would appreciate that feedback. If you'd let me know in the comments and give this a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. Okay, so now that's that, onward and upward. So what is this week's video about? Why do I have that image on the screen? What, it has nothing to do with Quantum Leaping Your Biz, which is what I'm all about normally in my day job. And why is this on the screen? Okay, so back in 2008, I was called to help spread the information and awareness, not like the regular breast cancer awareness thing or research thing, but about the fact that the time for awareness was long past, and this is back in 2008. We're all aware it's time to fucking take inspired, aligned action and do something about it. And beyond that, that breast cancer and other diseases can be prevented even if you're genetically predisposed to them. And so the calling, it seemed good, but it didn't make sense to me because it didn't personally affect me. Not that things I do always have to personally affect me. In fact, many things I do are for the greater good in the whole. But back then, I had some stuff going on personally in my life. Don't we all always? And it just didn't make sense logically, and I was way more logical even then. I'm still very practical, very pragmatic, very logical, and That's one of the ways I benefit my clients, is because what we do, from whether it's holistic wellness coaching or holistic business coaching, is comprehensive, because we're including your inner game of success and your outer game. So we're pairing up this divine harmony of your divine masculine with your divine feminine. In other words, creating a desire based and conscious. I'm all about being hashtag conscious and prosperous, not either or. And aligning that, okay, now that we have you clear on your desires for your life, your business, your relationships, your health, etc., let's co-create a customized marketing plan if you're in business, and I also do customize inspired action plans with my clients, whether or not you're in business. And then how can we get it so that you can take inspired, aligned, consistent action with as much ease and joy as possible, so that you can really start moving that needle and really experience what you're desiring to experience in our areas of life. We just primarily do it through the lens of business and entrepreneurship and money in my business coaching. But in 2008, I was called to do this and get out the word. And at the time, the internet existed. It was still, Facebook was just getting going. And I had a Facebook account, but didn't know how to use it. Didn't have any interest or desire to use it. And never really started using it until 2009. And I really didn't have any clue how I was going to go about helping not just women, because men can get breast cancer too, to get this word out. At the time, I wasn't an expert. I still don't consider myself an expert, at least on this topic of breast cancer prevention and wellness. So I wasn't sure how it was all going to come about, how I was going to get the word out, what my role was going to be. And it took me about 4 years of research and training and upgrading and elevating. And it was like, back then you still had to go to the library, and Google wasn't what it is today. Yeah, it existed, but it wasn't like what it is today. And YouTube wasn't even a thing, at least not like now. And, you couldn't just blink and then there's a plethora of information and everything at your fingertips. Like, you had to go to actual bookstores. Yeah, Amazon was a thing, but it wasn't like what it is now. You had to go to libraries. Like, you had to really do the work. Excuse me. So between the time lag there, as well as my personal development and growth and experiences and what was going on in my life at the time, it took me about 4 years, till about 2012, before it came through to me the main way, the main platform, the main delivery system for which I was going to help get the word out about breast cancer. We're aware, we know that we don't need to do more research unless it's for better Western medical treatments, but Western medical isn't the end all be all. Excuse me. I'm not anti it. I'm just for what's going to work safest, easiest, and best for each person. And for choices, empowered choices. I'm all about empowerment. And so it came to me that I would create, as a passion project, what's it called? Something of the heart. I can't think of the term right now. The interview series where I would actually interview the experts. And so my role was going to be to facilitate that and bring the information to people worldwide. So, but I wanted it to be free and I wanted it to be accessible. So I knew I was going to use the internet as a medium, and I knew that I was going to, hello from our media communications major here. So I love media. I love the internet. I knew that by then I knew, okay, it's going to be over the internet. It has to be free and it has to be accessible and it's got to be global. Now, I didn't exactly know how I was going to do all that, but I did realize by then, 2012, that I was going to be hosting this series called the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Series From Fear to Empowerment, where I would be interviewing different various experts, from cutting edge medical doctors who were into functional medicine before people had started hearing about functional medicine, to naturopaths, to Dr. Bruce Lipton, father of epigenetics, to all these other great experts, and then allowing them to plug themselves and their latest books and their latest whatever they had for sale, as long as it was aligned, in exchange for helping them expand their audiences, because they weren't big like they were getting known, but they weren't to the level of fame that they are now. Now, I wasn't like, oh, little old me's going to help you get famous, and that wasn't an intention or even a thought. I knew that they were good people, and they wanted to reach more people with the fact that options exist. And so it was designed to be a win-win-win, a win for everyone who could attend for free globally, a win for the experts who I was going to interview, and a win for me because I knew I'd answered the call and was going to fulfill my role of doing this. Now, this is never in a million years what I would have thought I was going to be called to do. I was called to do many things. I'm a multi-passionate creative. Comment and holla if you can relate, and give me a thumbs up if you can relate to that. So I had many loves and interests, and this would have never had occurred to me in a million years. And by the way, your calling may or may not have occurred to you as something that you would have felt called to do. It may or may not have ever occurred to you, even in childhood, of a dream that you might have wanted to be at some point, and that's okay. Or it might be, and that's okay too. But I know at least one person watching this needed to hear that, because your logical mind will try to talk you out of it in an effort to protect you. And especially if it sounds like, that sounds insane. Why would I be called to do that? Like, universe, God, source, goddess, whatever, all that is, imagination, quantum field. You've got the wrong person, wrong number. Try again, call somebody else. You've got the wrong number. And in reality, if you're feeling the calling, no matter how nonsensical and illogical that it seems, I'm going to implore you to answer it anyway, and just your life will be so much easier and better. I promise you this, says somebody who's learned the hard way to let go or be dragged. Okay, so, but back then I still had a lot of self-doubt. I was still going through a bunch of personal stuff and trauma, and I was like just trying to get through each day and put my life back together. Didn't have like the bandwidth mentally, emotionally, physically even, to embark on a journey like this. So I entered it very sheepishly with a lot of self-doubt and unsure how to go about it. And this is before everybody and their mom had online interview series and summits and blah blah blah. And I had some idea, and so I just went into research mode. I'm a researcher. And at the time I was a perfectionist. Now I'm a recovering perfectionist. Holler if you can relate to that. It's one of the many things I help my clients with, because our perfectionism gets in our own way, whether it's career or business or relationships or health or whatever, or even raising kids. So I wasn't sure how to do this. I was filled with self-doubt, but by then I knew what I wanted to do. So at the time I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll create a Facebook business page or a Facebook group. And I don't remember which came first, the chicken or the egg. I think what came first was I wasn't ready to put my stake in for holistic breast cancer prevention, because I felt like people are going to think you're not a doctor and why should we listen to you and da 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 da. And I never claimed to be a doctor. I'm still not a doctor. I never have ever thought that. But my inner critic went into, who do you think you are, and you're not a doctor, and how dare you, and blah, 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 blah. Can you relate to this in any area of your life? If so, let me know in the comments. So because of all this, it took me quite a bit of time and very, very slow, painstaking, sheepish, gradual steps, where even the thought of creating a Facebook business page or group for this topic made me cringe. Where I was like, how dare I even consider such a thing? Like being my own worst enemy and critic. So I ended up starting with something that felt a little bit more safe. There's that word again, safe. which was to create a business page for holistic prevention and wellness, because my calling started to expand and get a little bit more clear, and I realized that holistic breast cancer prevention was just part of that calling, and that I was also called to help people realize that they can help prevent and reduce the chances of developing other diseases too, especially ones they've been told back in the day, oh, if somebody in your family had it, you're doomed to get it too, because that's what doctors used to think, so that's what they all used to say, and some of them sadly still do that. And it wasn't going to just be, though, for preventing hereditary diseases. It was going to be just in general, but that felt safer, and I decided that I would honor the calling by starting with the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Series, From Fear to Empowerment. And so it took me a whole other year, you guys. So remember, 2008, the calling came. It took me 4 years of going through personal stuff, plus self-doubt, plus you're not an expert in imposter syndrome and fraud factor. Can you relate? Drop it in the comments if you can. To get to a point in 2012 where I started my first Facebook business page. And it wasn't even meant, because this was a passion project, as a way really for me to make money, but I also knew that I was going to need to make money as a person and a parent. And so I thought, well, if that's my main gig, I have to find a way to make it still be for free, but a way that I could still make money too, but still be able to donate to the less than handful of agencies who are focused on prevention, because it was so rare. And that way, it's still heart-centered, it's still being led and driven by a calling, not by money, and money can be the icing on the cake if I make some. Great, but the main thing is I had to honor the integrity of the calling and offer this event globally for free. And I say that because it's connected to what I'm about to share with you, and also if you're in business or you have a day job, but you have a calling to even go into entrepreneurship, even if it's part-time, and get your feet, dip your toes in the water and see how it could work for you. It all ends up being connected, and it's not always revealed to you at first, and sometimes you just have to choose to answer the freaking call anyway and allow yourself to be guided. And if you're a type A or a perfectionist or just strictly left-brainer, that's going to be even more challenging for you. I know, because I've been at every place on the spectrum, from super left brain, cynical, to super right brain, to now happily more in the center. I can relate to it. So I know what that's like, and I can tell you that I can save you years of time, energy, frustration, struggle, money. Did I say energy? Right now, if you just take this warning and choose to answer the call as soon as possible and choose to be shown a way, and then open yourself to allowing yourself to be shown it, and then take inspired action as guided. And this is one of the quotes I use in almost everything I do, no matter which business it is or which endeavor or which passion project, especially for my left brainers, who I love dearly, being a former one myself, because I was and that is this. It's an Einstein quote, and it goes something like this: your imagination is meant to be your master, and your logical mind its faithful servant. I'm going to repeat that. Your imagination is meant to be your master, and your logical mind its faithful servant. And for we left-brainers, we don't like that, because our egos think they know it all, and our logical minds think they know it all, and our fact and science centered, which is great. I'm all for facts and science. And the thing is, we've got the wrong person in the driver's seat. So we've got this partnership I mentioned of a marriage of the divine feminine with the divine masculine. And so the divine feminine is that imagination Einstein spoke of in that quote, and the divine masculine is the faithful servant, which is your logical mind. So direction's meant to come from on high, from your rightful master, which is that divine feminine part of yourself, that connected to everything part of yourself, universal intelligence, right brain, creative, artistic part of yourself. And then be disseminated downward to the logical mind, which is its faithful servant. And the logical mind now takes that information, that direction, and it goes and does and implements and acts. And you can't have one without the other, and one is not better than the other. And now my left brainers are particularly resistant, but so are some of my extreme right brainers, because a lot of the right brainers think, oh no, the divine feminine and the higher realms, and this body's a bag of skin and bones, and why would I want to be embodied, and it's so heavy and dense down there, and blah 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 blah. And I've been at all of those places, so I can relate to all of you, and I poke fun at different groups because all of you have been there, done that. I have all the t-shirts to prove it. And if you can relate to any of this, let me know in the comments. So, one is not better than the other. They're both absolutely necessary. However, if you're more of a left brainer, you're going to want to resist this. And resistance is futile, 1. And 2, what you resist persists. So, the more you resist it, the harder you're going to make things for yourself. In other words, your logical mind's not meant to be driving even though it thinks it is and thinks it knows everything. Your right brain, creative, divine feminine, imagination part of you is supposed to be driving, and the logical mind is meant to take orders from her and implement them and do them and support her, so that they form this beautiful, harmonious marriage and beautiful team. So with that in mind, and we all, by the way, whether you identify with being female, male, or they or other, doesn't matter. We all have inner divine feminine and inner divine masculine energies. So this applies to you no matter which quote-unquote sex you identify with. Okay, so with that in mind, I think it took me yet another year before I made the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Group. I don't remember if I started with, well, I know I started with the Holistic Prevention and Wellness business page. Then it took me another year, I think 2013, before I either made the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Series group. I think that's what I started with, because I still wasn't feeling brave enough to create a business page for it. Back then they were called fan pages or business pages on Facebook. And so it might have taken another year before I got that done. So about, 6 years from the time I was called to the time I made the business page. And then I sheepishly started contacting some people who weren't the biggest fish in the world, but who I thought would be more receptive and reachable and approachable and open, and for whom felt safer for me to contact first. And they were absolutely experts in the field, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't have asked them if they weren't experts. And I racked up little quote-unquote wins along the way where I would reach out and they would say yes. And that boosted my confidence a little bit and a little bit and a little bit each time. And then I eventually made my way to getting a designated domain name for this series. And then I'd gone to school for web design many, many moons ago, but I hadn't actually done anything with it and didn't actually really want to be doing it. I love design, and I thought it would be a great marriage of my left and right brains, creative yet structured and analytical and logical at the same time, and allowed me to make a living. But it was really going to be my settle career. Back when I first went to school, that was the idea. So you would think, oh, you went to web design school, okay, so you knew how to make your own website. Well, actually, I did it at that point in time because technology changes so fast. So whatever I had learned before that had totally changed. So back then WordPress was known more for blogging rather than full-fledged websites. But there was a version of it. WordPress, for those who don't know, is a website publishing platform, and they have free and paid options. And I'm a WordPress girl at heart, so as an official web designer, as well as a WordPress user since 2012, who's also helped clients who've had Squarespace sites. Is that what it's called? Squarespace or Square? Yeah, Squarespace, I think it's called. And they've had Wix and Weebly, and I've could see what the appeal was. They were like, well, I'm not a geek and I'm not a techie person, and I just want something simple and pretty, and this is drag and drop builder, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. Okay, they didn't all sound like Valley Girls. Just being silly. So I could understand the appeal. Well, I've got great news for you. WordPress is still the best, number one. And number two, WordPress has drag and drop themes and features now, which other website publishing platforms refer to as templates, which dictate the main look and feel of your website. So if you are thinking of going into business, or you are in business and you're like, I don't yet have a website, or it's not fully fledged, or I'm not sure which publishing platform to choose, WordPress all the way for the win. Okay, that was your golden nugget for that. So I ended up having to teach myself WordPress, self-hosted WordPress, which is from WordPress.org, not to be confused with WordPress.com, which are actually owned by the same company called Automattic. Automattic. Where are my Pointer Sister fans? Let me know in the comments. I told you bad singing was included. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, anyway, so the company called Automattic owns both WordPress.com, which was originally mainly for bloggers and non-commercial websites after that. And they also own the nonprofit version of WordPress, which is called WordPress.org, and that is the kind of WordPress we use on self-hosted websites. And that's when you have a WordPress software on your website and you pay a web hosting company. I will drop in the description or comments the website hosting company I recommend, which is Green, because I'm all about being conscious and prosperous. And what I forgot to say, and I can't believe I forgot to say this, is I help you quantum leap your biz and attract your dream peeps so that you can have a conscious and prosperous biz you love and transform the world like you came here to do. So that's what I'm here to do, is transform the world, and that's the kind of dream peeps I love to work and play with, and who I attract, and who I mostly primarily serve through my business coaching and consulting business. So if you feel called for a bigger mission, a bigger purpose to transform the world, even if you're not sure what it is yet, then you're probably gonna want to, maybe reach out and connect with me about it. Okay, water time. I invite you to get some water and drink some. All right, so taught myself WordPress, ended up using that web design education after all, and ended up getting a diploma in graphic design too, and ended up becoming a graphic and web designer without trying, without desiring to, and it was mostly just clients from, if you're wondering about getting clients, just because this worked for me doesn't mean it's best for you and your business, so keep that in mind. But I just started getting clients and referrals, and it was just an all Facebook and referral based business without me even trying. And quite frankly, I was grateful for it. However, I was very angry at God Source Universe because that was not where my heart was at the time. My heart was with, at the time, holistic healing and wellness, and also focused on prevention of disease and illness, especially breast cancer prevention, but also other diseases, as we said earlier. And yeah, so furthermore, that was basically, and then that evolved to where it was going to shift and focus on micro niching. If you're not sure what a niche is, there's a quote that says, "Get rich with a niche." I prefer to pronounce it the French way, which is niche. And if you are in business and it's a service-based business and you've been struggling for a while yet, I can help you. And here's a golden nugget for you. Because most people I attract are creative, multi-passionates like myself, and we really don't want to niche. It feels like we're being forced to niche, like the industry's telling us you have to niche. And every part of us that loves freedom and all kinds of things, we just love learning and growing, and we have all these passions and curiosities and interests. We don't want to fucking be put in a box, and we don't want to have to niche, and we want to say, we don't need no stinking niche. And F you, and take your niche and shove it where the sun don't shine. And here's the thing, you can be successful in business as a service-based provider if you haven't chosen a niche, but it's so much harder and it takes a lot longer if you don't already have a following or an audience filled with your dream peeps. So if you want to start experiencing more success sooner rather than later, generally I am going to recommend that you do choose a niche, but you can do that in a way that feels expansive and light and free and aligned and inspired, that lights you up, and that you're not chained to, and you don't have to marry it and spend the rest of your life with it. And that's one of the main things I help my people with, because they're like me, we want to be free. Freedom's one of my main core values, and it also happens to tend to be for my dream peeps too, even though it's not like I write that. It's not like a requirement. I do have requirements and prerequisites to work and play with me, but that's not one of them. I just tend to attract people like myself, so we value freedom very strongly. So I help them find a way that, if a niche would benefit them, a way to find one that's aligned and inspired and feels light and expansive and joyful and free, and let them know they don't have to marry it. And then we do some inner game work also, because your mind can consciously know something, and this is relevant, so key in here. There's that word, key again. Tune in here. Your mind can consciously know something. That doesn't mean the rest of you knows it. And remember, our minds like to think they're the boss and know everything. But the reality is, if your external reality, including your physical health, relationships, jobs, career, business, whatever, money, aren't going how you desire them to be, or you're not where you want to be at despite trying or doing everything quote right, or doing hashtag all the things or whatever, or you get a little taste and then you backslide, or you end up in a drought for whatever it is, there are reasons, and it's likely not your fault. And even if it was, I would invite you to forgive yourself and just choose differently, and open your heart and mind to know that there are other ways. Even if you think you've tried everything, you haven't yet, or you wouldn't be struggling right now, and that's okay. Just know that they exist for you. That might or might not be working and playing with me. It might be something else, okay? But you can have it if it's desired truly from heart and soul, and if it's aligned for you, and if all parts of your body and being and mind are on the same page with knowing that it's safe, listen carefully, safe for you to receive it and have it and keep it for as long as you consciously choose, whatever it is, whether it's a healthy body, whether it's a thriving business, whether it's a thriving successful career, whether it's a healthy loving relationship. It doesn't matter. This applies across the board. Okay, so with that in mind, onward. So business took off with the web and graphic design business, and it gradually evolved and started turning into a consulting business, because they would come to me saying, well, I need a website, or I need these graphics, or this or that, and of course I wanted them to look nice. Who can fault them for wanting their graphics to look nice? And now I do branding as well as online marketing, consulting, and strategy along with the business coaching, right? But at the time, I hadn't yet officially been called to business coaching, and I had not branded myself or called myself or titled myself a business coach. And yet I found myself, because they would ask me, my clients would ask me, and needed that support. And I would also realize it, because I had natural, it turned out, gifts toward this and capacities toward this, where I could be like, yeah, well, I can make you a nice looking site and graphics, but what's your ultimate desire for this business? Oh, I want to do this, this, and this. And ultimately, with some version of transform the world like they came here to do, even though that's my wording and not theirs. And it would be like, okay, and how do you plan to do that? Is it through a nonprofit? Is it through a for-profit business? Da 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 da. And these were all people who were credentialed, they were qualified, they were experienced, they were experts in their field. And yet they all struggled with imposter syndrome and fraud factor, and they all had inner game shit slowing down their results. Okay? This applies to health, relationships, career, business, money, etc. And I would be able to see these things as well as, so I'd be able to see the inner game stuff. At the time, I didn't know how to help them. Like, I'd have some inklings and ideas, but I didn't feel qualified to share that with them. And I wasn't officially a business coach yet, so it just felt like, well, they're the expert. How they will be offended if I offer this suggestion to them. How dare I even think of it? The nerve, the audacity. And so I would hold myself back and stop. So I just focused it on the logical side and the practical side, and would be like, okay, well, ultimately, we know that you want to fill your business with dream clients or dream students for your classes or for your courses or whatever it was that they wanted to sell or fill or people they wanted to attract. So let's, have a nice looking website and graphics, but let's have it be strategic and aligned with your desires and intentions. And let's make it so that your website and social media and graphics can be working 24/7 on your behalf to help you transform your business dreams into reality. And that wasn't the wording I said back then, but it's now one of my hashtags, hashtag transform your business dreams into reality. And if you're not in business, stay tuned. This is still free. But hopefully you're getting to see some crossover here. So at the time, though, I was really feeling called to doing the holistic healing and wellness stuff, and I was kind of, grateful, super resentful at the same time at God Source Universe that I was being directed into this whole other career slash business that I hadn't planned on, had no desire for, wasn't asking for. And I kind of felt like, when do I get to say over my life and what happens to it? At this point, it seemed like if you want to succeed, this is what you have to do. And it just kind of felt like it was a little bit being forced on me. And so I resisted it. There's that word again. And eventually had to come back to relearning, let go or be dragged. And when I let go, things started to evolve and get easier. And then eventually, after a few years of doing that business, I was called into business coaching. And then it wasn't easy or smooth, this journey, you guys, but it all eventually, all the evolution was guiding me to where I am now. And this is not the end all be all for me either. I'm still always expanding, learning, and growing. Our nature is to expand like the universe. So where have you been refusing to allow yourself to expand like the universe? That if you would allow yourself to expand, would positively impact every area of your life. And if you'd like to have some energetic support in that, I'm going to give you a bonus right now, which is a clearing statement. So let's have that, and everything that doesn't allow that, let's clear that. Reality reset. Thank you. Just drink some water. If you said yes and chose to receive that energetic support, you'll be receiving it. You may or may not have felt anything. Whatever you felt or didn't feel is just right for you. But please drink some water and stay hydrated because it helps move the energy. And just get open and curious like a kid with childlike wonder about, I wonder what ways that's going to start showing up for me and what fun ways, how much fun I can have playing with expanding and learning and growing and evolving. And if you're over the age of 30 and you're starting to feel like you're quote unquote old, even though 30 is not old and everything's relative and comparative, you might be in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, okay? Any point where your mind has decided that you're old, that last thing we just did will really apply to you, because once we associate ourselves or deem ourselves as being too old for something, or we're old, or we can't change now, or no, spent my life doing this, I spent 8 years, I didn't spend 4 years in medical school to be called Mr. That's from Austin Powers with Dr. Evil. He's like, it's Dr. Evil. I didn't spend 4 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. So maybe you've spent 8 years to get a doctorate. And then you've dedicated yourself to a career of this or a business of that, only now to be called to something else, and you just feel a little bit resentful or irritated or annoyed. And that's okay. Let yourself feel your feelings, and this is also relevant to what's on the screen and what I'm about to share with you. So you can evolve and expand and grow and change at any age. It's never too late. What's that C.S. Lewis quote? You're never too old to dream another dream, or whatever that is. Something to that effect. Did I tell you I butcher quotes? I'm pretty sure I told you that. If you're not new to me, you're used to that by now. Okay, so all this has led me down a path, yet that was totally different than I envisioned, like many of us can relate to. However, my passion projects still were there. They just got put on hold and on the back burner. So what I would do is I would post to my Holistic Prevention and Wellness business page on Facebook, and I would post to my Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Series from Fear to Empowerment business page. And occasionally I would post in the group for it as well. But, I got busy with life and business and stuff, and so it couldn't be my main jam or my main gig, and everything got pushed to the back burner and put on hold. But the calling didn't go away, and the desire to serve in this way didn't go away. So I just figured, okay, for now it'll just have to be through the Facebook business page and the group. So if you do have a calling you've been resisting, or you ask the question and go through the meditation process I suggested earlier in the upcoming week or two, and you allow yourself to receive the awareness and you find out that there is one, you don't have to quit your day job to go pursue the calling. I'm not saying to do that, okay? Do what's best for you and your body and your life. What I am saying is that until you answer the call in some way, shape, or form, life will continue to become harder, and you won't feel as fulfilled as you possibly could because you're refusing to answer a call. And if you do decide to answer the call, and you do have to make that decision, it is a choice. You don't have to leap headfirst into anything, even if it's business. And yes, I help people quantum leap their businesses, but you don't have to leap in any way, shape, or form right away. If it's best for you to put your toes in the water and dip them in and see how the water is and check things out and suss things out, do that. It doesn't mean you have to quit your day job and go become a singer or whatever wild calling it may or may not be, right? There are ways that you can serve and transform the world like you came here to do or are being called to do that don't necessarily mean that you have to entirely flip your life upside down. Okay, so let me eliminate that fear for you right now. It doesn't mean that. Okay, so for me, it looked like not being able to do the series yet, that being pushed to the back burner, and then dealing with some stuff that brought up and triggered, and processing that and dealing with that and resolving that and whatever those challenges were, and saying, okay, and this is bigger than myself, so let me get over myself, and how can I choose to serve right now? If it can't be through the series right now, how can I still honor this calling and support it? And for me, it just looked like occasionally posting to the business pages or the groups. And that was the best I could do at that time while I focused on growing my businesses, and so it was. Okay, and so for you, it might be something similar. It might not have anything to do with a business or a passion project or a nonprofit or a business page, but it's still going to be something that you can just do little by little in the background. It doesn't have to be moved to the front burner. Your life doesn't have to be turned over upside down. My life got flipped, turned upside down. Fresh Prince fans, let me know in the comments. By the way, they're having a reunion episode. I think it's going to be on HBO or Cinemax, and it's dropping soon. Who's excited? Let me know in the comments. It's not a real episode. It's just them doing a catch-up, which is a bummer because who doesn't want to see Carlton dancing? I mean, come on now. Okay, so apparently this video needed to be this long because somebody or somebody's watching it needed to hear about answering calls that they've been avoiding and refusing to answer or trying to pretend was the wrong number, and how you can do it without your life getting flipped turned upside down, and how even if it's not something you ever would have imagined or don't even think you desire consciously, that it's still aligned for you, or you wouldn't be, there are no wrong numbers. You wouldn't, in this example, you wouldn't be receiving that call if it wasn't meant for you to do it. And that your life will get better and easier if you just fucking answer the goddamn call. Okay, is that it? That's right. Next. So, and then also, it wasn't planned for me to share how my businesses have changed and evolved, and despite the time I've just spent on them, I still haven't even scratched the surface of telling you that, so I won't bore you with that at this point. But somebody needed to hear basically that it's okay to allow yourself to expand and grow and evolve and choose differently, even if it's contrary to what you thought was going to be for your life. Even if it's what you would consider yourself to be old or older and know it's too late to change now and blah, 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 blah. And then your logical mind and ego will want to come up with every excuse and reason in the book of why you can't do this and why it's absurd and insane and how dare you even consider thinking it. And you might go through some cognitive dissonance and some anger and some irritation and annoyance, and that's okay. It's part of the process. Just breathe and choose to trust and remember you could take baby steps and dip your toes in the water. Okay? All right. So just because I got guided into ending up doing web design after all and graphic design after all, and then that turned into business coaching along with it, business consulting along with it, and branding and online marketing along with it for social media and your business online. And you didn't have to, you don't have to be an online only business owner to work with me and have me help you quantum leap your business. But even if you somehow have survived 2020 in business and happen to have a brick and mortar or desire to create a brick and mortar business that could be sustained even through years like this, I can still help you with that. But just know this, you will need to have an online marketing. You're going to have to market all businesses, whether they're online or offline or both. But even if your business is a brick and mortar, you do need to have an online presence. You will have to market online. No, you don't have to manage that on your own. Okay? There are agencies and there are people who can help you with that. And while I no longer do anything like that part, I do recommend as part of the consulting and branding and online marketing that goes in with my business coaching, I can give you referrals, I can give you recommendations for growing your business, expanding it, quantum leaping it, attracting your dream peeps, etc., both in person and or online. So you don't have to have an online only business. It's okay if you do, it's okay if you don't. Okay? But if you do have a brick and mortar, it's 2020. If you don't have an online presence by now, what the hell are you waiting for? It's time to get to it. Okay? All right, and for those of you who are interested in learning more and discovering more about how I can help you to consistently attract your dream peeps and quantum leap your biz and be at that next level, even if you've been struggling or challenged with it, I do offer a limited amount of my exclusive free Quantum Leap Your Biz sessions valued at $555. I actually believe they're worth way more than that. And if you qualify, yes, you must qualify to receive one, then it will be free for you. So how does it get even better than that? And if you're interested, there should be a link below in the description section. You can click or tap to follow it, but I'll also tell you now in case you want to type that in. It's H, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, P as in Paul, colon, those are the two vertical dots, one over the other, // those are forward slashes, they lean to the right at the top. Bit as in boy, India, tango, dot, L as in Lima, Y as in Yankee, / again that's a / it leans to the right at the top. Quantum Leap Your Biz app is spelled A, P as in Paul, P as in Paul, because it's short for application. So again, that's bit.ly / Quantum Leap Your Biz app. but each of the letters of Quantum Leap, your biz, and app are all capitals. So it's a capital Q, a capital L, a capital Y on your, a capital B on biz, capital A on app. So bit.ly/Quantum Leap your biz app. And again, that's short for application, so there are 2 P's on app, and each of those are capitalized. Or click or tap the link below. Read the application form page if it resonates, and you're like, yeah, I want that free Quantum Leap your biz session. Make sure you meet the qualifications that are listed. You have to meet those qualifications, and one of them that I've had to add this year, sadly and ridiculously and fucking absurdly, is that you also have to believe Black Lives Matter, and without having to justify it by saying all lives matter. Da, 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 da. So that's a requirement now too. But other than that question of do you believe Black Lives Matter, which you do have to say yes and mean it truthfully in order to qualify, that's the only question you'll be judged on. The rest of the questions are judgment free. Just answer honestly the whole thing. You will want to set aside 10 to 20 minutes to be fully grounded, centered, and present when you complete that application. I've heard from people who've filled out the application who've received those sessions that they've been elevated and upgraded just by completing the application. And I didn't originally consciously design that application form to do that, but since I found that out, I have since then consciously infused that application form page. Again, you can find it at bit.ly/Quantum Leap your biz app, all capitalized. I have since intentionally activated that page. If your left brain or your mind just exploded, activated that page so that if you do meet those pre-qualifications and you honestly complete the application and you choose to allow yourself to receive it, that just completing it will elevate you and upgrade you and help you spiral on up to your next best level. So whether or not you receive a free session, so how to get even better than that? As a gift for free. Woo woo. I love giving gifts. Who doesn't love playing Santa, even if you're not religious or Christian or whatever? Who doesn't love giving and receiving gifts? I mean, come on, how much fun is it to give and receive gifts? And if you're like, well, Erin, I prefer to give, I don't prefer to receive, and what about that famous adage that it's better to give than receive? Then you're in the right place. Keep listening, because it turns out that's a fucking myth, and it's doing more harm than good. Now, obviously, if you're naturally generous and you're inspired to give with love from your heart to somebody else's, whether it's your audience because you're a business owner, or whether it's your friends and family, or loved ones, or partners, or kids, or whatever, great. That's pure-hearted giving, detached from any expectation, just the pure joy and generosity of giving. That's the way to get. If you're not giving in that way, stop giving until you learn how to naturally give from that place and space. Okay, golden nugget. There is a joy of giving, and in that, it lights you up so much that it does feel like you're actually receiving, whether or not they like the gift, the receiver of it, and whether or not they're a good receiver. It just feels so dang good to give, right? However, if you're a person for whom you'd prefer to give than receive, then you have some receiving issues, believe it or not, and they are going to limit your life and adversely affect it to some degree. For some people, it's little degrees, and here and there, from a relationship to business to career to health to money, and you may not even know it. And to others, it's to a greater extent that it's going to adversely be affecting you. Okay? If you're not where you want to be with your health, with your relationships, with your business, with your career, with your money, with your life, then you almost certainly have some receiving issues. And that doesn't make you bad or wrong. It's just something to know and become aware of, because once you're aware of it, you can then become empowered to make a different choice to choose to become a better receiver. Okay? And golden nugget being equals receiving. So if you want to become a better receiver, you're going to want to become more present with your being. Remember, we're called human beings, not human doings, to the dismay of our egos and logical minds. And the more time and energy you can prioritize for just being, which is why meditation is so effective. It's one of the only times we'll allow ourselves to just be fully present, be here now. Ram Dass, the late great, be here now. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. But they weren't the originators of this. They're just two white dudes from the 60s through the present. One of them is belated, who has brought that more to the forefront. So this applies in your relationships, in your health, in your career, in your money, with your business. Be here now. The more time you can spend in being safely embodied, notice being safely embodied, meaning in your body, the easier and better every area of your life will be. If you get nothing else from this time investment in this video, let it be that. And then put it into practice, because that famous quote that knowledge is power isn't quite as accurate or sufficient. It's more accurate to adjust it to say applied knowledge is power. So don't just take this, take it, ponder it, meditate on it if you will or desire to, and then start fucking implementing it, right? And if you're like, well, I'm super busy or and I'm multitasking as I listen to this, okay, could you stop and spend a minute doing some deep, slow belly breaths in through your nose for a count of 4? Exhale through your mouth to a count of 4 or 5 or 6, slowly and deeply. And on the inhale through your nose, your belly gently expands. And on the exhale through your mouth, your belly gently goes back in or down if you were laying down. You could do that. Could you set an alarm on your phone or tablet or device or computer so that even when you're working in your career or your job or your business, that at least once an hour you could take a minute break to stop, get fully present in your body safely, and breathe deeply? Yeah, you can do that. Could you prioritize spending 5 minutes just breathing and being in your body a day, even though you're super busy? And will it change everything for the better, including your health and business and wealth? Yes. But you have to choose it, you have to actually do it, and then you have to actually, make a habit out of it for best results. Okay, so fast forward all that, and we get to a point where this holistic breast cancer prevention series has been on the back burner for so long that I'm thinking, why do I still have the page called that and the group called that? They might be thinking, series, but you haven't done a series yet. What are you talking about? What is she on about? And if you read the about pages, you'll see what I meant by a series. The about section of the group, the about section or menu or tab of the Facebook business page, and you would see what I meant and what it was designed to be originally. But all you'd really see were posts and such, and you wouldn't actually have seen the actual series and be thinking, wasn't there supposed to be a series for this? So it got so long where I started thinking, maybe I need to change the name until I'm ready to, and able to commit that time and energy to this passion project and actually do the series. And the idea came, but I just never got around to it because I've been pretty busy. And but I did want to help. And at the time, back in 2012, 2013, October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, at least in America. And it's some bullshit because, as I said, even back in 2008 when I was called, I knew that we were all aware already, and it was some bullshit. Said Ice Cube style. I can't do a great Ice Cube impersonation, or I would give you an impression of him, but just picture him saying that's some bullshit. And so I wanted to focus on prevention and wellness. So I was like, okay. And then I stumbled across one of the agencies that does vitamin D research, and back in 2012, I think, or 2013, and they were like, hey, let's make May Breast Cancer Prevention Month. And I was like, yeah, it felt expansive, it felt light, it felt aligned, it felt inspired, it felt true, it felt right. Um, and so I decided that I was going to launch the first iteration of the series in May. And so I started using a hashtag Breast Cancer Prevention Month, and it was meant to go with May. And when I was coming up with the branding color scheme for the series, I knew I wanted to use some shades of pink, but I also wanted to use green because in May it's spring, well, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. You don't have to be in the Northern Hemisphere. In fact, many of my clients have been down under. But in the northern part of the Northern Hemisphere, spring is in May. But even if you live down under, even if it's not in May, spring is when things come back to life, right? The cycles of renewal, rebirth, greenery, grass, and flowers blooming. So, and plus, health. If you don't have a visual brand, okay, let's be clear here. Bonus golden nugget. Your branding is not about your visuals. Let me repeat that. Your branding is not about your visuals. Your brand does not start there. And anybody who says otherwise doesn't know what they're doing or talking about. They mean well, but they don't know correctly. Branding is one element. Visual branding is one element of your overall brand. Okay? It's meant to complement, like makeup is meant to complement what's already there. Okay? I have a meme about this. If I knew I was going to mention that, I would have had it pulled up on the screen for you, but it is what it is. So you could check out my business page if you're not already liking and following me there. Please visit facebook.com/quantumleapyourbiz, B-I-Z, and like it and follow it and turn on to receive all notifications, so when I post to it, you'll be notified. I offer top-notch, revolutionary, transformational, holistic tips on client attraction and quantum leaping your biz for free. So how does it get even better than that? At that group, at that business page, facebook.com/quantumleapyourbiz is the page. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. Subscribe and hit the bell and check it if you didn't already know. I'm giving away a business coaching and consulting session with me, yours truly. This is not my introductory coaching calls that are my Quantum Leap Your Biz sessions I aforementioned. This is a full-fledged, full-on, proper session as if you were already one of my clients. It's valued at $1,111. If you're not new to me and you're like, well, I've heard you say that before, Aaron, and before you said it was valued at $1,000. I remember because you said it Dr. Evil style. Well, check it. I've been guided to raise my rates to $3,333 per month. For my monthly payment plan option for my business coaching and consulting and healing one-on-one business. So they were valued at $1,000 per session, and now, and that was 3 sessions per month with support in between, and now they're $3,333 per month. And no, you can't buy 1 month at a time, like that. So if you were, since this contest is to win 1 business coaching and consulting session with me, that means it's now valued at $1,111. How cool is that? And you could win it, but in order to win, you must subscribe to this YouTube channel. You must hit that bell to receive all notifications. And you must have a publicly visible YouTube account, because when I hit 100 YouTube subscribers is when I'm going to be drawing the winner randomly. And I cannot enter your name into the drawing if your account is not publicly visible, because it won't show me your name because it's got privacy settings on. So if you want to be eligible to win that business coaching and consulting / healing session with me valued at $1,111 now, subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the bell for all notifications, and make sure your YouTube account is publicly visible. Even if you don't post videos to it, that's okay. But I'm going to need to be able to see your name when I hit 100 subscribers so that I can enter you into the randomized drawing. And also so I'll be able to contact you if you're the winner. And also you're going to want to whitelist my email address, Erin, ERIN, at quantumleapyourbiznow.com, so that if you are the winner, once we hit that point, you'll be able to receive the email notification. Okay, it's water time. And finally, without further ado, since we're at an hour and about 15 minutes, I can tell you what this is all about on the screen. So, either last year or the year before, 2020 is a blur, so it's hard to keep track of time now, especially when you work from home, which is most of us most of these days. Even if you have a job or a career, a lot of us are now working at home. I've been working from home since 2013, so nothing really changed in that regard for me this year. But for those of us who work from home, where was I going with that? Hold on. No idea where it's going with that. It'll come back if it needs to. Okay, so a year or two ago, that's where I was. Okay, so I decided to make it the series premiere in Breast Cancer Prevention Month, which was May, which I got the idea inspired from one of the vitamin D organizations whose posts I've shared on the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention series business page and group in the past. So I decided I would launch it in May. And I had expected to do it in 2012, 2013 at the latest. It still to this day is 2020, hasn't happened yet. Like I said, it got moved to the back burner. But I still contribute value for free via that page and that group on occasion. So if you haven't liked or followed those, you're going to want to do that. And the link is facebook.com/holistic breast cancer prevention. Again, that's facebook.com/holistic breast cancer prevention. No spaces. And be sure to like and follow me there if you or a loved one is interested in a holistic breast cancer prevention and wellness plan and safe things that you can do to help reduce your odds of developing breast cancer or of it returning or recurring. Okay? And if you're not into that, but you know somebody who would be, please give them that link, facebook.com/holistic breast cancer prevention, and send them there and invite them to like and follow it. And tell them about what I'm about to share with you. And so before I decided that it was going to realize, I didn't decide really, I realized and discovered that I wasn't going to be able to do the series years ago like I had anticipated doing it. I knew I didn't want to do it in October. I knew at that point I wanted to do it in May. I wanted to do it as for Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Month. Instead of focusing on awareness or cancer, I wanted to focus on prevention and wellness. That didn't happen. And I even thought about changing the name at one point, because even breast cancer prevention still has the word cancer in it. And if you know anything about energy, you know, and if you don't, that's okay. We all got to start somewhere. Here are the basics. Everything is energy. All energy vibrates or moves, just at different frequencies. All energy has consciousness, and all energy is connected. If you get nothing else from this, let it be that. Maybe it was just a reminder you needed to know. And that includes things like words, thoughts, feelings, emotions, our physical bodies, the earth, the chair you're sitting on, your desk, the building, the walls, rocks, things that appear solid are actually energy vibrating. It's just that we can't see it with our naked eyes, but with a powerful enough microscope, they can see it, and quantum physics has proven this to be true. So there you go, left brainers, you can't argue with that. So there. Tongue sticking out emoji at you now. All right, so with that in mind, that means your business is energy, your career is energy, your job is energy, your relationship is energy. Okay, everything is energy. There's not one thing that is not energy, period. So, now that you know that, or have been reminded of it, there's another famous saying you may have heard of. It goes like this: energy flows where attention goes. Energy flows where attention goes. Here's another one. What you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. or grows. Okay? So with that in mind, we don't want to unintentionally, accidentally give energy to something we do not want to create or experience or have or get. Okay? So if we want to be healthy, we want to put our attention on being healthy and well. We don't want to put our attention on what we don't want. We want to put our attention on what we do want. Okay? So if we don't want cancer, or in this case, breast cancer, we don't want to put our attention on breast cancer. So what would be the opposite of breast cancer that we could put our attention on? Breast wellness, breast health, overall wellness. So at one point I had been inspired about that, and I thought, okay, maybe I should change this to a different name that's more aligned with where I really want to help my people focus, which is on wellness, breast health and wellness. Because even though I have the word prevention in there, at the end of the day, what are we trying to prevent? Cancer. And I even had somebody who's a healing facilitator too, but in a different business, say to me at one point, I get that, but she didn't know that I knew this stuff already. And she's like, but did you know that energy goes where attention, energy flows where attention goes, and that you've included cancer in there instead, and so your focus is accidentally on cancer? I'm like, actually the focus is on preventing it and breast wellness. But yes, I agree, but here's the thing, and if you are in business, listen up. Even if you're in show business, listen up, because I work with entertainers also. Online, if you desire to increase your impact and income, and if you're here to transform the world like you came here to do, you want to positively impact more of your dream peeps and more people. Maybe you're here to impact people globally. The point is that those people need to be able to find you. Okay? And we don't just come out of the womb always with this, knowing this and these opportunities. Like, oh, all the avenues and channels and platforms for me to get my message heard are lined up at my mom's vagina, or if you came out through a C-section at her belly, ready to interview me so I could spread my message like I'm Jesus reborn or Buddha reborn or whatever. Or Mother Mary, like whatever. It doesn't work that way. Like it or not, if you're in business, even show business, you are going to have to be marketed. Whether you have help marketing yourself in your business, whether you're doing it yourself, whether you start doing yourself and then receive support, sooner or later, marketing will be involved, spreading the word. Okay? And so, once you're clear on some basics about your business, which I can help you get clear on if you're not yet, then you can use that information to help market it, online and offline. And here's the thing though, let's go back to online. With online marketing, so if you're just in here for business tips and you don't have any concern about breast cancer, even if you're a guy who knows that you can get breast cancer even as a man, share this video with somebody who would be interested, please, and thank you. But stick around anyway, because I'm dropping golden nuggets for business also. So one of them right now is you still need to market yourself, like it or not. I would invite you to learn how to like it or at least get neutral with it, and I can help you do that too. But the bottom line is this: you have to market. And one ways we can make that easier, golden nugget time, is by putting yourself in the shoes of your dream peeps, your dream customers, your dream clients, your dream students, your dream attendees, your dream buyers. And asking yourself, if I was them, what would I be searching on? And make sure that your marketing aligns with what they would be searching on most. So even though this business was not started, or this passion project wasn't started to make money, I still have to think of it in terms of what's going to help me get the word out, especially when people were still back then focused on awareness and research, and nobody even had heard of the insane, absurd idea the audacity to even consider focusing on that this could be prevented as well as other diseases could be prevented, especially if it ran in your family. So people at the time weren't searching on, how do I prevent getting breast cancer? How do I prevent getting diabetes? How do I prevent dying from heart disease or a heart attack like my father or mother did? And I've just realized I've been muted, so I don't know how long I've been muted. And hopefully I just did it to sniffle. I was in the middle of dropping some golden nuggets on marketing yourself and why I have breast cancer in the title of Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention instead of just focusing on holistic breast wellness or calling it that. And at some point the name may evolve again and become holistic breast wellness or health and wellness. But I knew at the time that people weren't searching on that. They didn't even know it could be prevented. So we have to meet our people where they are and what they're searching on if you're in business, even if you're in show business. And I knew people were searching on breast cancer, not on breast cancer prevention, not on breast health or wellness. So even though I know how energy works and that energy flows where attention goes, I had to choose to focus on prevention and wellness, holistic breast wellness, and holistic breast cancer prevention, because I knew they weren't searching on that back when I was inspired to create this and give it a name. Okay, so keep that in mind if you are in business for your own people in terms of marketing and putting yourself in your Dream Peep shoes of what they would be searching on, so you can meet them where they are and be easier and quicker for them to find you when they are searching for what you have to offer, especially if you want them to choose you over any competition. And here's another golden nugget. Hint, you really don't have any competition. It's kind of a myth. And if you do have a competition, it's not even a bad thing because it means there's a demand for what you offer. But if you want to stand out from the so-called competition, then employ this golden nugget of putting yourself in your Dream Peep shoes and searching on what they would be searching on and including that in your marketing. I make my trainings and teachings and videos so that you can receive a return on investment, whether it's time, energy, or money. And so applying even any of the golden nuggets I give you in my trainings usually can help you improve your income, your impact, or some area of your life, even if it's your health, even relationships. So how does it get even better than that? Okay, so a year or two ago, I was like, well, everything had to go on the back burner. I couldn't do the series yet. And even though I wanted to do this in May, I know Breast Cancer Awareness Month, even though that's bullshit, is coming up. And people do tend to pay attention and give money more to charities during that time, etc., etc. And I really want to give back and do something. And if it can't be the series yet, what could I do? And so I pondered that and was inspired and guided to do a one-off free online event, which at the time is what you see on the screen, the graphic for. I decided to call it Heal Your Fear of Getting Breast Cancer or of It Returning. And I ended up offering it in October either of 2019 or 2018. Again, I don't remember which because everything's a blur time-wise at this point. And so I didn't get to do it in May, and I did it as a one-off, and I wasn't even sure I was going to offer a replay, so I did not promise a replay. And I always encourage you to show up live to my events, whether they're free or paid, because you're going to get more out of them. Also, I incentivize you to show up live by offering usually some kind of surprise goodie for you, because I know it can be challenging to show up live for things depending on your schedule, but you're going to get the most out of it. And so even when I do offer a replay, so I like to incentivize a live attendance, and that's a bonus golden nugget you can apply if you yourself are in business, to help get more people to show up live for your events as well. All right, water time. So it was in October either 2019 or 2018. I did the first one off. I did not promise a replay. I did end up eventually, because lots of people signed up afterward, decided to offer a replay, and I said, just hit reply to this email and let me know if you want the replay. And I don't think anybody except maybe one person did. And I thought, why would you sign up for this event? No, find out you can attend by replay and just listen at your convenience, and then not hit reply and say that you want the link for the replay. That was disconcerting, to say the least, but to each her or his own, right? So it's not my role, and it's not your role if you're in business, to make your people take action. We can do our best following our inner guidance and our desires, and our business targets and goals to facilitate that for them and invite them to what we know they desire, okay? And put it out there for them and invite them to it and participate. In other words, to partake of your free samples and or to buy from you. At the end of the day, it's up to them whether they choose it or not, and that doesn't mean anything about you. So bonus golden nugget, if you're in business, that doesn't mean anything about you. Everybody starts somewhere. You might hear a bunch of no's before you get several yeses or any yeses. You might do events and have them quote unquote flop or think they're a failure. You didn't fail, you're not a failure, they didn't fail. And remember that even if failure was real, the Zig Ziglar quote, failure is an event, not a person. Remember that. So, to my dismay, only one person asked for the replay, and so it kind of put me off it for a while, but I knew that I did my role, so I knew that I could sleep at night peacefully and soundly, knowing that I did what I was inspired to do, that I offered an event from my heart to yours for free to help people. And I was incredibly clear, in case you're thinking, well, Erin, but you said yourself you're not a doctor, and you said yourself you're not an expert in that area, so what really were you doing? Well, if you would have read the invitation, you would have seen what it was. It's full of disclaimers. I only do what I can do. It's not a substitute or replacement for professional, medical, or psychological advice or treatment. Ever. Even in my business coaching, I have disclaimers. So it's not about that. Nor does it say, hey, heal your breast cancer, although it could. It also doesn't say, cure your breast cancer. In America, we're not allowed to claim things are cures. Only the FDA and Big Pharma are allowed to claim cures. But I wouldn't do that anyway. The point is, this event is not to guarantee that you'll never get any cancer, especially breast cancer, or any disease. Nobody can guarantee that, not even doctors. Right? We've all seen or heard of people who do everything quote unquote right. They could not drink, not smoke, always wear their seatbelt, exercise, eat quote unquote right, meditate, manage their stress, surround themselves with good things and people and blah blah blah, and still get it even if they didn't have a gene for it. Okay? So this isn't about that or saying you won't get it. Let's reread the graphic clearly on the screen. Heal your fear of getting breast cancer or of it returning. It doesn't say heal your breast cancer or never get breast cancer or never have it come back. This is about fear. And if you've read my emails about this or my posts about this in the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention Series or group, you'll see really why you would want to do that. Why would I want to heal my fear, Erin? Why would I even want to let my fear go? Fear is a good thing. Some of us think fear is a good thing. Well, there are two fears we're born with, the fear of loud noises and the fear of getting dropped. And then from reptilian brain that we still have as humans, and our cave people days, that's in our ancestry and in our DNA and in our human operating system makeup, we have a fear of the dark, a lot of us. Because back in cave people days, fear of the dark could mean a saber-toothed tiger could jump out and get you, or you could trip on something, or you could not see the edge of a cliff and fall off. So the dark was equated with being dangerous and scary, thus the overall concern of fear of the dark. It's one of people's top fears. It's not the top one. The top one is fear of public speaking, which is usually rated even higher than death. And I have done some events on healing your fear of public speaking. So if you're interested in any of those replays, I might still have some that I can offer you for sale. But you'll have to message me at Erin@quantumleapyourbiz.com and let me know if you are interested in that so I can check for you. It's been a while since I've done those events. But for this case, why would you want to heal a fear? Maybe you think having a fear of getting a disease, including breast cancer, is a good thing. Maybe you think it's keeping you safe. Well, that would be a myth of your ego and logical mind. One of those things where it thinks it knows best, but it really doesn't. The reality is the way that fear works is that you can be doing everything quote unquote right, but have the fear in the back of your mind running 24/7 programming on you. And it thus sabotages all of your best efforts to reduce your chances of getting breast cancer or any disease or illness. It's not the only reason why somebody can be doing something, everything quote unquote right, or striving for that and still get an illness or a disease, but it is one of the top ones, and rarely do people know this or talk about it. So what if instead you didn't actually need that fear to keep you safe or healthy? What if you could just choose to be safe and healthy and choose to take positive actions as part of a holistic and inspired, co-created holistic wellness plan, or a breast wellness plan and breast health plan? What if you could just choose that, co-create one that's best customized for you and your body and your life, implement it, make it a habit, and not have fear driving you and sabotaging your efforts and running the show? Oh, but Erin, no, my conscious mind has decided that I'm being proactive and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I've got my health in my own hands. Well, kudos to you for taking inspired action and making the choice and committing to taking the actions to be well. Excellent. Seriously, I'm not being patronizing. Seriously, kudos. Because it's easier said than done to choose it and to commit to it and to implement it and to make it a habit and an integrated part of your life. And that fear is not helping you, it's sabotaging. So the reality is, remember, everything's energy. And the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton has shown, he's the father of epigenetics, that even if you're predisposed to cancer or some other disease or illness by heredity, something still has to switch those genes on for them to turn into disease. And what dictates that is our environment. Not just your physical environment or world, but your internal environment and world too. And his research has shown, and I use this with my business coaching and consulting clients all the time too. I always quote Dr. Bruce Lipton because it applies to every area of our life, from career to job to relationships to health to money to business. His work proved that between 96 to 98% of what shows up in our external world and even in our bodies is dictated by our unconscious worlds and realities, not by our conscious minds. He refers a lot to the subconscious, but the subconscious is only a piece of it. It's a huge piece, but it's only a piece of it. So whether you want to call it your subconscious or things you're unconscious of, either way, we're going to use them interchangeably for this purpose. Same difference. So if up to almost 100% of everything you do, your behaviors, your choices, your actions, consistently, patterns, habits, etc., and what's showing up in your outer world and in your body and in your reality are being dictated not by your conscious choices and behaviors and actions and habits, but by what's going on in your inner world and your outer environment combined, but particularly your subconscious and unconscious programming, beliefs, fears, emotions, traumas, thoughts, feelings, programming, coding, then it makes a lot more sense of how somebody can be the right weight or doing everything quote unquote right and still get cancer or breast cancer or some other disease. Because it's not, those things matter and they count, so don't stop doing them if they feel good for you and your body and they're aligned for you. Okay? Keep doing them, but just know why it sometimes feels futile and why sometimes it can be futile, because we have this whole unconscious world, and because it's unconscious, we're not aware of it, running the show of what we're actually doing and what actually shows up in our bodies and in our lives. And it's the most predominant unconscious stuff that those programs running most consistently and predominantly that are the strongest and have the greatest effect on what shows up in your body and your health and your relationships and your money and your business and your job and your career and your external world is being dictated by the most predominant, strongest, most frequent energies in your unconscious world. What's an example of that, Erin? So glad you asked. An example of that would be emotions. An example of that would be beliefs and programming, primarily from birth to age 7, but things can be piled on top of that and snowball at later years of life too. Primarily traumas. Now, if you've seen that graphic that says, if you knew how powerful your thoughts were, it's a meme actually, it's a quote that's on a meme. If you only knew how powerful your thoughts were, you'd never think a negative, quote unquote, negative thought again. They don't do quote unquote. I'm putting negative in quotes. You'd never think a negative thought again. And so for those of us who are new and we start to learn that, then we go, oh shit. And we start to learn about the power of the mind and the thoughts, and we start to try to get better and we try to be positive. And then we sugarcoat everything, and then we do what's called spiritual bypassing or emotional bypassing, where we're just trying to be all love and light and all positive all the time. And we're always trying to say there's a lesson in everything and it happened for a reason. And whether it did or not is irrelevant. The point is that it's not healthy. We mean well when we try to do that. I've been there, I've done that. But the reality is it's not a healthy way of being and functioning. Because we're spiritual bypassing. If you cover, what is the thing? If you sweep shit under the rug, the shit is still there. Okay? And that's what you do when you first learn about the power of your mind and your thoughts and you try to be positive all the time. You're just sweeping shit under a rug. And so the positivity, it can't get through past your conscious mind, so it just stays there. And this is why affirmations don't usually work. This is why you could be like, oh, I am healthy and my breasts are healthy, or I am healthy and rich and famous, or I am healthy and successful, and blah, 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 and write it and say it and imagine it every day in a journal 30 times a day for like a year straight and still not fully believe it, or still not have the outer results to match that and prove that. It doesn't mean you did anything bad or wrong. It doesn't mean it's not for you, because what can tend to happen is we downward spiral and go, oh, I guess that's not for me after all. Right? The reality is you just didn't know how it actually works. That's all. And once you learn better, you can do better. So how does it get even better than that? So when we first learn, we're like, oh shit, I better be positive all the time. I better change my thoughts so I'm not having negative thoughts and being so negative. And maybe I'm being negative and don't know it. Let me choose my thoughts and my words carefully so I don't actually, and that's another thing. We'll learn that the power of our words, and that you can speak things or write things into reality. And once you learn that, at first it seems really cool. And then you start thinking about, oh shit, I better not say anything negative. I better not speak anything negative. I better not write anything negative. I better not think anything negative. And the same thing can happen with the spiritual and emotional bypassing, where you're just sweeping shit under a rug, but you mean well, but you're trying to be positive, but you don't take care of the shit first. You have to take care of the shit first. Then you can fertilize the soil and the earth and the canvas, the plot. And then you can start planting in the positive seeds of what you want to see sprout and grow and bloom. But it doesn't work when you spiritually and emotionally bypass it. So back to the predominant vibrations. I said emotions, traumas, and programming and beliefs are the strongest. Notice I didn't say thoughts. Yeah, they're in there, but thoughts by themselves, we have upwards of 70,000 thoughts per day. You could be meditating like a monk in a cave in Tibet for 25 years, you guys. You still wouldn't be able to keep up with all of your thoughts. You would have less of them, your mind would be quieter, but you still wouldn't be able to keep up with all of them. So watching your thoughts turns out to be fuel. So if you didn't know that, now you know, and I've saved you time and energy and money and frustration. You're welcome. Trust me, because no one told me, and I had to learn that one the hard way, and wasted so much time, so much energy, so much money, so much heartache and frustration and disappointment and despair and getting down on myself and thinking, oh, I must work for other people but not me, that I can never get back of my life. Okay? I don't want you to have to go through that. Or anyone you love or care about to go through that. And this applies just like all the other stuff. Holistic approach applies to everything: business, career, money, life, relationships, health, body, disease and illness, or wellness. Okay, so I did say emotions though. Fear is an emotion. Well, lots of people find that out and they go, oh, then I better not let myself get scared or fearful. Kind of like when you learn that quote supposedly attributed to Buddha that says, if you only knew, basically that anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you learn that, you're like, oh, and this light bulb goes off and you're like, oh, shit. I better stop being so angry. And then the tendency becomes to avoid anger at all costs because you don't want to poison yourself. And you now think that feeling anger means you're poisoning yourself. So now at all costs you're trying to avoid feeling angry or getting angry. But the reality, and if you've had high blood pressure or know somebody who does, you might have been told to try to manage your stress and try to keep your temper. So that it doesn't raise your blood pressure levels. So the reality is this. That can even cause you to develop a fear of being angry and feeling angry. And the reality is there are no quote-unquote negative emotions. Anger isn't a bad emotion. We're having a human experience, as the late great Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say. We're spiritual beings having human experiences. Now, even if you don't believe in the spirit, okay, we have an energy body, that's proven. All right, so if you want to refer to it as we're energetic beings having a human experience, or we're having a human experience and we're part energy, we're a being, not just a human doing, we're a human being. The being part of you is your energy body part of you. Science has proven we all have energy fields, human energy fields. So the mystics have said that for eons, but science just finally caught up to it the last few years and proved it. So there you go, left-brainers. Don't say I never gave you nothing. So with that in mind, there are no negative emotions. You don't have to be afraid to feel angry or fear even. However, where the concern comes is that there are some vibrations. Okay, so let's go back to everything's energy. All energy vibrates, just at different frequencies. The late, great Dr. David R. Hawkins, he was a PhD and a medical doctor, left-brainers, proved that emotions vibrate at different frequencies. And some emotions vibrate higher than others. For instance, we have the love and above range of frequencies that vibrate at higher rates or speeds, like joy, bliss, peace, oneness, unity, love, happiness, freedom, ease. If dis-ease are things like cancer and heart disease and diabetes, then wellness would be associated with ease, and that would be higher vibrating. Okay? Well, emotions are similar. So some of the more lowest vibrating emotions are guilt and shame and apathy and despair and hopelessness and powerlessness. And then it goes to like neutral, and then there's like anger and frustrations in there too. And then it goes up his map or scale of consciousness. So you might learn about that and go, oh, well then I better not let myself feel those lower vibrating emotions. Because Aaron said that dis-ease vibrates at a lower frequency than, say, ease and wellness, and I want to be well and healthy, so I want to do whatever I can to be healthy and well. Well, yes and no. Yes, we want to do what we can to be healthy and well, but we still have to remember no emotions are negative. They're all part of the human experience. We're going to experience one or more of those emotions at some point in our life if we're lucky enough to live long enough, and we don't have to be afraid to feel them. The danger isn't in feeling them. The danger is in trying to avoid feeling fear, trying to avoid feeling anger, trying to avoid feeling the so-called lower vibrating emotions, because as we're trying to avoid them at all costs, avoid being negative, avoid speaking negative, avoid focusing on what you don't want by saying it or speaking it or writing it, and only be positive, you end up spiritually and emotionally bypassing, as we said. But also, you're denying yourself the full human experience and the full range of emotions. But also, and most importantly, those emotions have to go somewhere, those feelings have to go somewhere, and if you're going to refuse to feel them and honor them, guess what? They don't just go bye-bye just because you decide to sweep them under a rug. They get repressed and suppressed even if you weren't consciously doing it, and guess where they go? They don't go away. No, no, no. That's not how it works. They go into your subconscious mind. And then they go down into your emotional, well, they're in your emotional body. Then they go into your subconscious mind. Then they go into your physical body, including your cells and your nervous system. And then they go into your energy field. Your subconscious mind is said to be 30,000 times stronger than your conscious mind. So do you see why your ego and your logical mind really can't be driving even though you want them to be and they think they are in charge? Logical left-brainers and right-brainers, are you starting to get this too? Let me know in the comments. So if subconscious is stuff in the dark, the unconscious that doesn't have the light of conscious awareness on it, so we're not aware of it, and that's the most powerful, so much so that Dr. Bruce Lipton's work proved it's driving most of what shows up in our internal bodies and our external worlds, almost 100% of it, compared to what we do consciously. Then what are we left with? It might even be discouraging to find this out and disempowering at first, because you might think, well, shit, what am I doing all these things to be healthy and well for? What am I doing these things to help grow my income and impact and make a better life for myself and my family and loved ones for? Why am I even bothering? And that is sometimes a normal response and common, so it's okay if you feel that way. It's okay if you don't. If you do, it's quite common. But the great news is this: it doesn't have to be disempowering, because it's all how you choose to look at it. The reality is, it's just about going, okay, how can we bring, as Carl Jung said, basically, another quote I'll butcher, about bringing the unconscious conscious. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control you, basically, is the gist of it, that famous quote. So, and a Joseph Campbell quote I love, the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So with that in mind, we don't have to fear the dark of our unconscious world. What we need to do is do our best to safely bring it to the light of conscious awareness so it's no longer in the dark. And if it's no longer in the dark, driving, because it's now conscious, then we gain access to more of our personal and infinite power. Make sense? Let me know in the comments. Any questions? Anything you want clarified? Is this making sense? Let me know in the comments. By the way, please comment with what your favorite golden nugget was, what you found most valuable, what was something you already knew but maybe heard in a different way, or that the penny finally dropped and it sunk in a different way this time and you like, oh, I knew that, but now I get it. Physically, I get it now on all levels. What's something new you never knew that you just learned or new to you? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this valuable, thanks. Let me know what it was in the comments that you found most valuable, and give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you know will benefit from it as well. Also, subscribe for more great content on this YouTube channel, even if for some crazy reason you don't want to win that session. And if you're not a business owner and you're like, well, I don't need to be entered to the contest to win the business coaching consulting healing session, then we can apply to something else. I'm a certified rapid results coach, a certified extraordinary coach, a certified instant miracle coach. I am a certified healing facilitator, many things. If you don't want your session, if you're the winner of my YouTube contest to be applied to business, and you want to apply to your career or your job or your money or your relationship or your health, we can apply it to that. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification to receive every time I publish a new video to this channel, and make sure your account is publicly visible if you want to win this session valued at $1,111. Remember, after I hit 100 subscribers, I'll be doing the randomized drawing, and I will need your name and information to be able to contact you. Okay, so to conclude this video, announcing the return of my free online event to eliminate your fear of getting breast cancer or of it returning. So like most things I do, from my holistic success system, aka my quantum success system, aka my holistic business breakthrough session, a lot of my things go through different name iterations and changes. So the graphic is the old one. I decided I didn't need to reinvent the wheel for this event. Whether you want to think of it as healing your fear or eliminating it or releasing it, for all intents and purposes for this event, it's the same difference, okay? Now, again, you may be thinking, okay, Erin, I get now why I wouldn't want to hold on to the fear and why it's not actually serving me, even though my logical mind might have thought it was, and then I could just neutralize it so it's not sabotaging my efforts and just choose to do what I can to be well and healthy. Whether I relate with being a he or a she or a they. Okay, cool. Maybe you get that part now. But now you might be thinking, but Erin, you also just said that no emotion is negative, and that to not allow ourselves to feel the emotional range of human emotions is denying ourselves the full human experience, and also that the concern isn't about feeling the emotions, it's about trying to avoid them, because when we avoid them, they don't go away, they get repressed and suppressed. What they didn't say is that when they get repressed and suppressed, they get trapped, and they're in the dark of unconsciousness, and they grow, and they get fueled and bigger and stronger and more powerful. And remember, what's in the unconscious is driving us, not what's in our consciousness. So we talked about what's driving us is our predominant vibration. If our predominant vibration in the like an old record in the background running as, yeah, but I'm going to get breast cancer no matter what I do, or I could get it no matter what I do, or such and such got it, so I'm going to get it, even though you're eating right and exercising and not smoking and limiting your drinking or not drinking or doing this or managing stress or meditating or this or that. As long as that record's playing in the background, it can actually, ironically, make it more likely that you can get the very thing you're trying to avoid getting with all of your conscious actions and efforts. If your mind just exploded, let me know in the comments after you pick it up and take some deep, slow breaths and drink some water. And we damn sure don't want to accidentally make it more likely for us to get something we're trying to prevent in the first place, right? So it's not that I don't want you to feel your fear. It's that I want you to bring any unconscious fear about getting breast cancer or of it returning into the light of conscious awareness, so it's not driving your actions and what shows up in your reality. Okay? And I facilitate helping you do that in safe, gentle, and rapid, effective ways. And then you can just have it in the light of conscious awareness, like, oh, isn't that fear interesting? That I didn't realize was there, running the show from the background and driving. But now that I've brought it conscious into the light of awareness, it's disempowered. What's more, the work of the late great Dr. Candace Pert, who wrote a book called The Biology of Emotions, showed that the reality is, if we allow ourselves to feel, even when it's temporarily, keyword temporary, temporarily uncomfortable, our so-called quote-unquote negative emotions like fear or anger or despair or grief or whatever it is, shame, guilt, etc., that we really don't want to feel because it feels so uncomfortable, and we've misidentified and misapplied discomfort with pain, and we've decided that pain means a threat to our physical survival from the caveman programming from our reptilian brains that we still have. Therefore, we think it's dangerous to be uncomfortable. There's a famous quote from Laverne Cox that I made a meme of. You can find it on my business page, Transformational Business Support, aka Quantum Leap Your Biz, at facebook.com/Quantum Leap Your Biz. Go to the photos section, or it might be called media now. Facebook keeps changing stuff. Go to that menu or tab, click photos, and you could find the meme in there from Laverne Cox, but it says something to the effect of uncomfortable doesn't mean dangerous. And it's so true, because we avoid things that are uncomfortable because we think they're scary and they're temporarily uncomfortable and they're out of our comfort zones. And they just don't feel good, so we want to avoid them, like the coronavirus, plague. Haha. So we get in the habit of avoiding them at all costs, like uncomfortable emotions that we've deemed quote-unquote negative or bad or scary. Or I don't want to feel that because I don't want to speak it or write it and manifest it. Manifesting doesn't work that way. That's a myth. Avoiding it is what pushes it down, and once it's pushed down, then it becomes unconscious, unaware. It doesn't go away on its own. And there it gains strength like a snowball going downhill. And what controls us is what's strongest, vibrating predominantly, consistently from our unconsciousness, not from our consciousness. So it's not wrong to feel your fear. It's wrong. It's not even wrong or bad. It's unhealthy to not allow yourself to feel your fear and try to avoid it, and then it gets shoved down into your body, your energy field, your nervous system, your cells, your emotional body, your subconscious mind. And then it gains strength, and then it starts sabotaging all your conscious efforts to be healthy and well. And ironically can make what you fear most more likely to happen instead of less likely. All because we were afraid to feel that emotion. But to circle back and close that loop with the late great Candace Pert and her biology of emotions, she proved that if we would just allow ourselves to feel our emotions, even the uncomfortable, scary ones we really want to avoid like the plague, and fully acknowledge it and witness it and observe it with neutrality and or curiosity, and just allow ourselves to feel it, the physical sensation of it, an emotion will just be processed by our body-mind system, our human operating system, the way it's designed to, and it clears in less than 2 minutes. Her research showed 90 seconds. So for these emotions we've been afraid to avoid and feel because they're painful or uncomfortable or awkward or scary, that we've pushed down, that can turn into disease, they're not the only thing that can cause disease, but they're one of the things that can contribute to disease and can even sometimes cause it. That can cause us time and money and energy and loved ones, all without us meaning to or realizing it or knowing it. If we would have just let ourselves feel the emotions in the moment and been present with it in our bodies, be here now with it in our bodies, we would not only allow ourselves to safely process it, but it would just be biochemically processed by our bodies and mind-body emotional system in less than 2 minutes, in about 90 seconds. If we just let ourselves be present with it, for it, and to it. Just getting in the practice and habit of training ourselves to do this and being and functioning from this new way that's actually natural but doesn't feel natural is going to improve every area of your life, from your health to your career to your money to your business to your relationships. Less than 2 minutes, you guys. 90 seconds on average, according to the work of the late great Dr. Candace Pert. So when you start to learn that, you can start making different empowering choices, like to face your fear, to sit with and be with your anger and witness it and observe it without judging it, without making it bad or wrong, without trying to make it go away. Think of your emotions, even the scary, uncomfortable ones, as little kids who just want to be seen and heard and valued and appreciated and loved and allowed to be there and accepted, just like we do as humans. As even human adults, we still have our inner child inside of us hungering and craving the same thing we did as kids. To be seen and heard and valued and loved and appreciated and wanted and allowed and accepted unconditionally. Do that for your emotions and watch as your whole health improves, your business improves, your life improves, your relationships improve, your relationship with yourself most of all improves, your money flows improve, your career's success improves across the board. Now, this is easier than said than done. It takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes choice, it takes making it a habit. It takes compassion with yourself and grace for yourself to learn a new way of being and functioning. But it goes quicker and easier when you work and play with someone such as myself. I don't do the work for you, I just facilitate you in doing it for yourself to make it easier and faster for you in safe, healthy, harmonious ways. And while I primarily do this in my quote-unquote day job as a business coach and consultant and branding and marketing consultant and strategist, I also do this for holistic wellness coaching, because everything I do is done using a holistic proven approach. So, it's once again October, and I knew it was coming, and I knew it was breast cancer awareness, and even though I'd rather do it in May, once again, people are associated and used to thinking about it in October. And here we are upon another year or two later since I did the last event, and I knew it was coming once I realized it was September, and I said, you know what? I want to offer that event again. And so since people are expecting to focus on breast cancer during October, and since it's just occurred to me, and since this year has been crazy as fuck, I'm just going to go ahead and do the event again for the first time in a year or two. It's still not the series time yet. It's still coming eventually. I'll let you guys know when it comes if you want to know. Like and follow the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention page, of which I've just changed the name finally. I told you earlier I was thinking of changing the name. So it now says, as you can see here, Holistic, here's the new name, Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention from Fear to Empowerment. I dropped the Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention series from the title for now until the series is ready. So the new page name, Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention, space from fear to empowerment. Again, you can find that, like and follow it at facebook.com/holistic breast cancer prevention. I changed the link too, so the old link won't work if you had it bookmarked. Go to the new link, facebook.com/holistic breast cancer prevention, and bookmark that and like and follow it to stay alert. So when we do get the series finally going, you can be notified. Alright, so it's October. I got inspired to do the event again. So whether you want to call it heal your fear of getting breast cancer, or eliminate your fear of getting breast cancer, or release your fear of getting breast cancer, or of it returning or recurring, same difference for all intents and purposes for this event. It's free, it's online, it's global. Anyone who has internet access can sign up for free, but you must sign up to be able to attend. Spots are limited, and I do invite you to join us live. It's going to be first come first serve basis. So in order to sign up, there's a link here on the screen. It says sign up here, bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer. Notice that the words eliminate your fear of breast cancer are all capitalized. So I'll drop the link below of this video so you can click or tap it. It'll take you to a free sign up page. All you have to do to sign up is enter your name and your email address. That's it. How does it get even easier than that? And so when is this event? Well, I'm so glad you asked. It is this Saturday, October 24th at 1 p.m. Arizona time. And for most of the world who changes clocks, the clocks change on Sunday. For the Northern Hemisphere, we fall back an hour. Autumn is nicknamed fall for those who didn't know. So the saying is usually spring forward, fall back. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're probably going to fall back an hour if you're somewhere that changes times. I live in Arizona. We are one of the only states in America that do not change times. We're the same time year round, which is very convenient. So it's 1 p.m. Arizona time. Arizona has its own time zone. So currently California Pacific time is the same as Arizona, but after this Sunday, that might be changing. But some of my California friends told me they passed a law where they're not going to change time zones and do daylight savings anymore. So maybe that's taking effect, and then maybe California Pacific isn't changing times, but the rest of the Pacific time zone will be changing. So the way you find out the time for you is you go to timeanddate.com. It's a free website, and you can find out, you can put in 1 p.m. Arizona and figure out what time that is for you and your part of the world this Saturday, October 24th. So to join us live to have your fear of getting breast cancer or of it returning eliminated or resolved and dissolved or brought into the light of conscious awareness or released or whatever you want to call it, healed, whatever, safely, gently, using a proven holistic approach facilitated by yours truly, then go to bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer, or click or tap the link below to go there and sign up. You just give me your name, your email address, and that's permission to email you the deets. And you will be emailed the live Zoom link by this year. People who never heard of Zoom have heard of it. It's a free online app that you can put on your devices or your computer and have online meetings. It is a video conferencing software, but you don't have to be on camera or even have a camera. I don't even have a camera on my computer. I just use Zoom by voice. So you can attend without being on camera. You can attend and be on camera. The choice is yours. But it is going to be held in the free Zoom app, which you can download if you haven't already from zoom.us. You can download that free app for free from zoom.us or from the App Store. Okay? And to attend live at 1 p.m. Arizona time this Saturday, October 24th, you're going to want to make sure that if you're listening on a device that like a tablet or a phone, that your device is charged 100%. And I would recommend even having a charging cable handy just in case. Technology's been acting wonky lately for people. That way you'll have a backup. I would recommend you allow up to 2-ish hours for the event this Saturday, October 24th at 1 p.m. Arizona time to attend live in Zoom. It's first come, first serve, and the spots truly are legitimately limited. So if you want a chance at attending live, you're going to want to try to sign in early once you get the Zoom link by email, which you'll receive once you sign up at bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer, which are all capitalized. You can see on the screen right here where it says sign up here. So once you sign up, you'll receive a series of emails, including the first one that contains the Zoom link. Okay, and when it's time at 1 p.m. Arizona on Saturday, October 24th, in a few days, just click or tap that Zoom link and it will launch Zoom for you, which you have to install on your device to use or your computer to use. So allow yourself time to install. Probably take you 5 minutes or less to get Zoom from the App Store or from zoom.us website and install it on the device you're going to attend the event on first in advance, so that by the time it's about to start, you can just click or tap the Zoom link for the email you received from me, and it will automatically launch the Zoom meeting on the device of your choice. Just make sure your device is charged up to 100%, or you have a charging cord handy, or attend from a computer that's plugged into electricity. And why would you want to attend live? I told you I incentivize you. So if you attend live, you have a chance at receiving direct, customized, personalized facilitating and coaching from me on the live event. okay? Because I'll be asking for volunteers. 1. So personalized attention, you have an option for that if you attend live, if you can claim one of the limited spots to attend live this Saturday. Also, I'm going to be gifting those who attend live and stay through the end with a special bonus gift that I'm going to announce during the event live and show on the screen live, and then those who attend live and say they want it in the chat who has stayed through the end, I'm going to personally email the free gift to them, and it's a very powerful yet super simple tool that you can use in about a minute a day or less to help you align more with breast health and wellness and overall health and wellness. So you're only going to be able to receive that gift and be eligible to receive it if you attend live. So attend live for personalized attention and to find out, discover what the free surprise bonus gift is going to be, and to qualify to receive it and stay through the end and allow at least 2-ish hours for the event. Okay? And we'll usually kick it off with some basics for your left brain to open up and be more receptive. And then we'll go into the experiential part of the event. So what's different about this event, besides for I've never seen one like it, is this isn't about awareness or research. This is about inspired action and empowerment and actual real live legitimate transformation that you can experience. So I like to do live experiential events. So it will be experiential, okay? And earlier I said something about you can know something consciously, but that doesn't matter unless all parts of your body and being are on the same page with knowing it completely and that it's safe to know it. Okay? So consciously you can take in everything I just went over in this training. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden the rest of you, the majority of you, the unconscious parts of you, your emotional body, your subconscious mind, your energetic body, your physical body, your nervous system, and even your cells have got that message too. It just means that little part of you, the conscious part, has it. That doesn't mean your fear is going to be gone from the rest of you, and that is the purpose of this Saturday's free online event. It's an experiential, transformational event so that we can get to where the fear is living and hanging out and neutralize it safely, easily, rapidly, so it's no longer unconscious and no longer driving. And it's not about making that fear bad or wrong. It's not about judging it. It's not about trying to make it go away. It's actually about shining light of conscious awareness and embracing it so that it can just be safely processed by your human operating system, a la the way I described Candace Pert talking about how we're really designed to process emotions. And then it just resolves. It's really that simple. So I will facilitate you through doing that safely, gently, rapidly, easily. How's it get even better than that? And for my left brainers, even if you're not a left brainer, I like to do this too. It's very simple and free, and you can do it right now. So what I would invite you right now is to check in with yourself, whether you resonate with being male, female, other, they, I don't care. Anybody can get breast cancer. So I want you to check in with your body. Take 3 deep, slow belly breaths in through your nose to a count of 4, allowing the air to go in and down, allowing your belly to gently expand on the inhale. And exhale with a sigh through your mouth to a count of 4 or up to 6, however long you need. So, and your belly goes back in or down on the exhale. So inhale through your nose to at least a count of 4, allowing your belly to gently expand. And exhale through your mouth to at least a count of 4, allowing your belly to go back in or down with a sigh. That's right. And once more. If your nose is stuffed like mine, just take the inhale and exhale through your mouth. You can still do this. Allow your belly to gently go in on the inhale. To expand on the inhale and to go in on the exhale. That's right. And now with your feet on the ground, I want you to check in with your body-mind system and ask yourself, on a scale of 0 to 10, what is my current level of fear of getting breast cancer, or if you've had it before, of it returning? Right now, in this moment. 0 means I have 0 level of fear, Erin. Not even a smidge. I've scanned my whole body. I can't find any fear anywhere. It's 0. And 10 is, are you kidding me, Erin? I'm freaked the fuck out about getting breast cancer or it returning, even though I'm doing things to try to prevent it or reduce my chances of getting it. Or even if I'm not doing anything, I'm scared to death, basically, is a 10 on the fear scale. 0 is no fear, 10 is freak the fuck out, scared to death, I'm going to get breast cancer or it's going to come back, despite what I'm doing to try to prevent that or reduce my chances of that happening or to be well. And just whatever comes to your mind first, answer that, type it in the comments for me and for you. And if you're joining us on Saturday live, you're going to want to rate this first. One of the emails you'll be receiving asks you to rate this in advance of our meeting on Saturday. Because there's no right or wrong number, so whatever number you got, don't judge it, even if it's a 10. Just notice it and be aware of it and be honest about it and breathe. Okay? My target, my intention with the event is to get us as close to 0 as possible, if not to 0. But even if we don't get all the way to 0 for every person, everybody's different and goes at their own pace, any progress counts and is to be celebrated. Because that lessens the grip of fear running the show in the background and sabotaging your efforts to the contrary. It's any progress is bringing it, lessening its power from the unconscious world and bringing it more conscious. Okay? So the target is 0. Again, there's no guarantee that having no fear of getting breast cancer or it coming back means you won't get it. It's one less thing that will contribute to you getting it, though, and it will stop sabotaging your efforts to try to reduce your chances of getting it or getting it again, and make them that much more powerful and effective. These are the benefits. These are the reasons that we want to get the fear down to 0 about getting breast cancer. So whatever your number was, honor it. Don't judge it. Don't make it better or wrong. Just acknowledge it and type it in the comments. And then come Saturday and let's do our best to get you down to 0. Now, nothing I do works without your consent, I said earlier. So you have to choose this to work for you. You have to choose that it's going to work for you. You have to allow it to work for you and help you. And that's why cynics are not allowed. I've been a cynic before. I know what it's like. You can be healthily skeptical and you're invited. Cynics are not invited. Why? Because cynics have already made up their mind that there's no fucking point or this can't work. And even if it did work, it's not going to work for them. And it's all hoo-ha and hogwash and baloney and malarkey. So don't bother wasting your time or ours. And don't use up one of the limited spots that can benefit somebody who is open, who is willing to choose for this to help them. Okay? So you are welcome, even if you're healthily skeptical. I'm healthily skeptical about many things. It's a good attitude to have. But the difference is that you're willing to choose it and allow it to work even for you. And have an open mind. It's kind of like if you're watching a movie that you know is fictional, which is most movies, and you kind of push a suspend disbelief button. Like if you had an alarm clock and it has a snooze button and you push snooze, right? Imagine you have a suspend disbelief button. It's like a snooze button that you push. You engage it, you depress it, you push it down, you activate it when you're going to watch a movie. Why? So you can be fully present and get the most out of your experience of the movie. Whether it's sci-fi or fantasy or horror or just a drama. So you can really have the experience, the movie watching experience. And then afterward, the button just disengages and you're back to reality, quote unquote. So to get the best out of this experience, engage that suspend disbelief button, open your mind, choose it's going to work for you, yes, you, and allow it to work. And just be honest about your fear rating, because at the end of the experience, we're going to have you re-rate your fear rating. And that way we can compare before and after, not so we can judge them as good or bad or right or wrong, but so we can see, okay, how much progress did I make towards zero? Did I get to zero or move the dial even a half of a point? Any progress counts and is to be celebrated. Okay? If you're willing to choose it and you're open, the dial will move towards zero. Will it get to zero for you personally on that session? I don't know, but it's definitely possible. If by the end it's moved but it's not at zero yet, that's okay. Celebrate it anyway. And drink water and know that my events, my experiential events like this one, they have an effect that continues after the event. So it may take you a few hours after the event and maybe even a night's sleep after the event. And then the next day, if you weren't down to zero by the end of the event, you can re-rate yourself. And it probably, the needle will have moved towards zero in most cases. Okay, it might even be at zero by then. And if it isn't, that doesn't mean you can't get all the way down to zero. So don't make it mean anything like that. What it actually means, if you don't get to zero by the next day and you've been drinking water and got some rest and didn't get to zero on the event, which is very rare, but if it happens, that's okay. Everybody's different and goes at their own rate. It just means that you need some extra support and that there's some reason that part of you is getting some kind of secret benefit to holding on to that remaining fear. And it's usually a self-protective mechanism that's been miswired and the coding is faulty, like a glitch in the matrix. And I can help facilitate you into getting you down to zero on that, but it may require one-on-one support. Okay, so if that ends up being the case for you, where you attend live or by the replay and you've made progress, but even a day or so later you're not down to zero yet, contact me and we can set up a free complimentary, I guess that's redundant, but a complimentary Zoom call where I can tune in and find out, help you find out, discover what's actually preventing you from getting to zero. And once I've identified it, then you get to consciously choose for yourself, is this something you want to change? And if so, would you like to receive my support if I invite you to work and play with me to resolve that and finally get you to zero on that? And if so, I'll invite you to hear what that might look and be like, and the time, energy, and financial investment for that if we were to start working and playing together beyond that free session. But it's rare that you won't get to zero. As long as you're choosing it and allowing it, it's most likely you'll get to zero. Now, does that mean that that's the end all and be all and you don't have to do anything to try to promote breast wellness and overall wellness for yourself and your body? No. There are still actions you need to take that are part of any inspired, aligned, holistic wellness plan, whether it's a breast wellness plan or just an overall holistic wellness plan. But since we know the biggest determinants of what shows up in our bodies is what's happening in our unconscious world, and we know the things that show up are dictated by the vibrations that are predominant and most frequently occurring in our unconscious, and we know those main things that generate those vibrations are emotions, beliefs, traumas, and programming, then we know we start with those. Okay? So we do a combo if we work and play together of, okay, I want to be well and I want to have healthy breasts, or if you've had surgery to remove them, maybe you still have your ovaries, I want healthy ovaries, or I want healthy breast tissue of what's left. I want to be healthy and I don't want any form of the cancer to come back. So my attention I'm choosing to focus on is going to be my intention to have to be well. And I know that part of being well is my best chances of that are to co-create an inspired, aligned, customized to me, personalized to me, holistic wellness plan. And that's what I help you do. But as part of that, plan, of course, you're going to be taking inspired, aligned actions to prevent and reduce your chances, right? And to be well and get well and be well and stay well, right? And we know that a huge chunk of that is going to include your inner world, your inner game, which is the unconscious parts of you, and that we need to get them online, on board, congruent, in harmony, aligned with your conscious decision and choice to be well now. Okay? And we need to get all parts of you, especially the unconscious parts, on board with that, congruent with that, married with that, so that all parts of your body, mind, and being know it's now safe for you to be well. It is now safe for you to be embodied. It is now safe for you to have healthy breasts or breast tissue. Okay, like with my business coaching clients, we do a lot of work with the unconscious on it is now safe for me to succeed. It is now safe for me to thrive. It is not safe for me to be. It is now safe for me to be embodied. It is now safe for me to lead. It is now safe for me to shine. It is now safe for me to transform the world like I came here to do. Yeah, you dig? Let me know in the comments what you found most valuable about this training. Let me know if you're signed up or already signed up. Again, to sign up, the link is on the screen, bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer, and eliminate your fear of breast cancer are all capitalized. The link won't work unless you type it in that way, or you can click or tap it below this video to go sign up. And you must sign up for this free event in order to get the Zoom link so you can join us live. And again, if you join us live, you have a chance at receiving personalized coaching and facilitating by me, as well as being able to discover what the surprise bonus gift for attending live and staying through the end is, and getting to receive it because I'm going to email it to those who want it, who've attended live and stayed through the end. So how does it get even better than that? And the final thing to wrap up with is to address the replay issue. This time I have decided to offer a limited time only replay. It will probably take me a couple of days, 2 to 3 days, to get it uploaded and ready and send out the link for it. And once I've mailed it out to those who registered for the event, so you must register for free at that bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer, all capitalized, to receive the replay link. Once you receive it, which will probably be mailed out by Monday or Tuesday to those who registered, you'll have a limited time to listen to the replay and attend the experience by replay. Probably 2 days, maybe 5 days. We'll see what I'm guided to do at that time. After that, it's going to be up for sale on my preventandbewell.com website, and then I'll donate a portion of the proceeds to a nonprofit charity that's focused on breast cancer prevention and wellness, as opposed to research or awareness. Somebody that's actually doing good and moving the needle. Okay? So you can attend live for free, but you must sign up and spots are limited. And or you can listen to the replay, but you still have to sign up to receive it. And it's going to be a limited time replay, so if you don't attend live on Saturday, then you'll probably have at least 2 days in which to listen to it, but you'll still need to schedule it in and devote at least 2-ish hours for the experience. It's a transformational experience. You need to be present for it. So if that means staying up later than your kids so that you can have this experience, because maybe you're working from home and your kids are always there or your partner's always there, do it. You're going to probably have to schedule this in, because if you go, oh, I'll listen to it, and then don't get to it, then the only way you're going to have access to it is once it's up for sale on my website. And even then, even if you bought it, I would still recommend that you schedule in like it's an important, like you schedule in a doctor's appointment. This is an important investment of your time and energy for your health and wellness. Treat it as such, honor it as such, honor you as such, honor your body as such, and schedule it in at least 2-ish hours. Even if you end up buying it after the fact, after the limited time replay expires, because otherwise you'll be like, oh, I'll get to it, blah, 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 and then you won't. I know you won't. Just trust me. I'm the same way. I am the same way. I know how this works. Give yourself the gift of scheduling it in. And even better, join us live this Saturday, October 21st at 1 p.m. Arizona time. And when you sign up, you'll receive the email, and it has a link to the free time zone converter with it. So you'll be able to just click or tap that link and find out what time that is for you and your part of the world if you want to join us live. And here are the deets on the screen. We're in my private online meeting space through Zoom. You'll be sent the link after you sign up. There will be a limited time replay if you cannot attend live, but you only get the special surprise and personalized facilitating and coaching if you attend live all the way through the end. Of course, there are disclaimers there on the screen and in the emails, as well as I've already told you them. And finally, for this experience, you need to be fully present. So you don't want to be driving, listening to driving, operating machinery, using cutlery, watching small kids, or doing anything that requires your full attention. You really need to be fully present to get the most out of this experience for your safety and those around you, and also because you're not going to get the most out of it unless you can be fully present. Okay? Is that right? Is that right? All right, so until next time, this has been Erin Lloyd of Quantum Leap Your Biz, aka Transformational Business Support at quantumleapyourbiz.com and facebook.com/quantumleapyourbiz, as well as the creator of Holistic Breast Cancer Prevention from Fear to Empowerment and Holistic Prevention and Wellness. All of those are pages on Facebook. You know, if you want to win a valuable coaching, consulting, healing session with me valued at $1,111, you know what to do. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the bell for all notifications, make sure your YouTube account is publicly visible so that when I do the drawing after I hit 100 subscribers, you can be entered into it, and I'll be able to contact you if you're our winner. And if you don't want to sign up for this event, that's cool. Please share the link to the event, which is bit.ly/eliminate your fear of breast cancer, all capitalized, with somebody you know who would. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it valuable. Drop in the comments which was your favorite golden nugget. What was something you learned that was new or different? What was something you've heard before, but the penny finally dropped and you're hearing it this time and finally got it a different way that you never have before? What did you find most valuable? Comment with all of that. And if you're interested in Quantum Leaping Your Biz and attracting your dream peeps, again, the link to apply for one of my exclusive limited free Quantum Leap Your Biz sessions is bit.ly/Quantum Leap Your Biz app. And each of those letters, first letters of those words, Quantum Leap Your Biz and app, are all capitalized. And that is it for this time. And until next time, remember, you are infinitely powerful and your success is inevitable, but you must choose it and you must take inspired, aligned action to get it and keep it. And we must get all parts of you, body, mind, being, unconscious, conscious, on the same page with your desires so that they know it's safe for you to not only get what you want, but to keep it for as long as you consciously choose. I don't like one-hit wonders. I'm in it for the sustainable long haul, sustainable health and wellness, sustainable success in your business, okay? So if you don't want to be a one-hit wonder, you're going to want to get all parts of you on the same page, and I can help you do that easier and faster than you ever thought possible. So how does it get even better than that? Until next time, this has been Erin Lloyd. Bye for now.